Okay, welcome back. Justin Tucker here. In this video tutorial, we are going to cover how to get some dummy content or some sample content into your website without having to go and create each page yourself. So to review, I'm going to go to Structure. I'm going to go to Content Types. So far what we've done is identified needed content types. We have gone to Structure, Taxonomy to create the different categories we think we'll need. And then we went back to content types to actually use this manage field tab here or link to go in and create the different fields. So I've done a few of these already, and I went ahead and finished out the build for build bid submission. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. On this, you'll notice that we have a title, we have related project, time frame, bid submission details, bid amount. For this field here, this is a special field that I wanted to point out. This is a node reference, and this is actually a different module. If you go to Drupal 7 and type in node reference, you'll get a module called references. Okay, and you will need this. Copy link location, and you would go into your modules page, and you would hit install new module. I already have this installed, and you'll notice that where to go? Node reference. I have this checked. Okay, and it tells us defines a field for referencing one node from another. The reason this is important is because whenever a bid submission is created, it needs to know what project it belongs to. Otherwise, you're going to have a bunch of bids out there and a bunch of projects out there, and there won't be anything to tie them together. So how this works, let's just go ahead and click Edit. Well, I'll tell you what, let's just recreate it. Let's delete that. Delete time frame. And we'll delete that too. Okay, so in a bid, um, obviously the bid amount is going to be important. This is going to be an integer. So I guess I said we were going to add a bunch of content, but instead we are going to review building out this content type called bid amount in our little example here. We went over minimums and maximums, I think, in another video. These are basically just numbers that you can put in here. The prefix, though, we do want that to be the $sign, and the suffix we'll leave alone. Bid amount, okay, that all looks good. No default value. We also need a time frame, so when giving the bid, we can understand what that time frame we are telling the customer is going to be. In this case, we're going to use the date option. Now, this was another module, going back to my module page. This is another module that I had to download called date, and you get a lot of different functions. You can get that module, of course, on Drupal. And there it is. And like always, I just copy the link, go in, click install new module, paste it there, hit install. It's going to let me know I already have this installed. Otherwise, it would say good job for installing it, and then we could go back to our list and enable it. So that's already in place. For this example, I will choose the date. And you got two options here, text field and select list. I like select list because I think there's less room for error. The website's not going to let you save the page unless you address this correctly, but still, it's an irritation for users if you leave it as a text box because they're forced to type in the exact format that's needed. Whereas a select list, you kind of get to choose from drop-down boxes. So on a bid, we don't need hour, minute, or second. We basically need to express how many days this will take, or months, depending. And we'll go ahead and collect an end date, and we'll make it required. So what we're going to do here is we're going to force anybody that's making a bid submission to give a date range in essence by requiring an end date. And we're going to hit Save Field. You want to be careful on your date here to make sure you choose this correctly, because as soon as date material gets entered into the database, you won't be able to change this. Okay, so uh, if you're collecting hour and you find that that's erroneous, uh, and you've collected 100 pieces of information, you kind of got an issue. You need to figure this out up front. And then in the help text, okay, everything looks good. We'll save that. And now I'm going to add a field called related project. And this is the node reference field. So again, if we go out to Drupal and grab the reference module and install it and activate it, we'll know we were successful because we'll get this node reference option. And if you're just starting out with Drupal, that might sound a little cryptic, but again, the idea here is that the platform really doesn't have any way of understanding that when this bid is placed, what project it's for. And as you can imagine, naturally there's going to be multiple bids per project, or hopefully. So we want to let's go ahead and give a select list, because the bid will only be for any one project at any given time. And it asks us here, content types that can be referenced. And in this case, it is project submission. We're going to save the field. Okay. Choose the project this bid is for. Related project. Right now, I don't have any projects, or specifically, I don't have any nodes that are of content type project submission in the database right now. This is why this drop-down box shows none. As projects get added, this drop-down box will increase, and we're only going to say one value, and it's going to be project submission. One thing to keep in mind here, and we'll address this later, but if you're thinking ahead, obviously you can kind of see the bottleneck this can create. So for example, let's say the site got successful and got very big, and there were thousands of projects on here. Well, clearly it's not going to make sense to give a drop-down box of thousands of options to make your users choose from which project they're talking about. So later on, we're going to go over some tools how we can make that association automatically, and by virtue of the fact that the user clicks enter bid submission on the project page, it understands that this bid must be for that project. And we'll go over that and how to do that, but in either event, this field needs to be here to have that association and that connection exist in the database. So that's why we're creating this field. And we'll save settings, and we've got I'll move these around. I'll put the details at the bottom. I'll put the bid amount at the bottom. I'll put the related project under the title and the time frame. So that looks good. Go to manage display. And I'll turn this to label to be inline. Later we'll probably be using panels, and I'm a big panels fan. There's another module out there called context, which does um, a lot of what panels can do. But panels, and there's another module out there called display suite. So we kind of have a variety of the tools that we can use to address the laying out of this content to our users, and we'll get into that. But for now, just building out the content types, that is what it's going to require, and we'll save this. And that should be, let's see, time, project, bid, bid amount, related project. Okay. I think these are all the fields we need to complete our bid submission content type. And I think the next one we have is we'll go over the project submission. So I'll wrap that video up here. If you ever have any questions, please know to ask. If you like these videos, please subscribe. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.